Joining me is Stone's mother, Sherry. Miss Foltz, what happened to Stone?
Stone was in his sophomore year at Bowling Green State University in Ohio, and he was had decided last minute to join a fraternity. Through the process of joining the fraternity, they were required to do several different, I guess you would call rituals, traditions. And as we know now today, as we have learned over time, that's called grooming. So they basically groom you into thinking these things are okay and what you have to do in order to join a fraternity. It ended up early March where the Big Little event was taking place. It is an event that reveals the big brother for the members joining the fraternity. Stone, he ended up going there that night and was taken down into a basement at the fraternity house. And there was 7 other pledges that night, pledging to be in that fraternity. And they tied a blindfold over their eyes, walked them down the stairs to the basement, and there was really loud heavy metal music playing, made them very disoriented. Took them down there, was screaming, yelling at them, you know, and then they actually had them take off their blindfold, and in front of them was standing their big brother, who had a bottle of liquor in their hand, which they call the family bottle. It's basically passed down um, as a tradition from each big brother's family bottle. And he was handed that bottle, and he was coerced or forced into drinking that entire bottle. And throughout the night, which was only 20 minutes, he had finished that bottle because his big brother was cheering him on. Um, and the other big brothers were throwing out the other pledges drinks, trying to help them out, giving them a chaser. Um, and he ended up basically being incoherent. He had asked to go home. They drug him up the stairs out. 3 of the members drove him back to his apartment. They drug him up the stairs into his apartment, laid him on the couch, backpacked him, and for one last enjoyment, took a video of him and said that he was snoring, making fun of him, when actually he was aspirating and dying right in front of their eyes. They then left him there, and his roommate showed up. We don't know when, but he wasn't aware of how much or if Stone had been drinking. But obviously, the sight of him noticed, he was in trouble. He ended up calling Stone's girlfriend, who you heard on the 911 call, Maddie. Maddie ended up calling 911. There was talk about fear of retaliation and what the fraternity would do if, Stone did survive, what they would do to him or the other people within the apartment. And from there, you heard the 911 call.
Miss Foltz, I noticed your delivery when you say what happened to your boy. I've been asked so many times what happened to my fiance that I can now recite it because I don't want to feel it. I don't want to think about what I'm saying, but I know the story enough that I can recite it. Sometimes when people ask me, I go, well, that was a long time ago, so I don't have to recite it again. How do you steel yourself to tell that story?
I think, to tell that story, I hear the 911 call. Often we actually play it in our presentations that we deliver to high schools and universities, just because it is an emotional something to hear. I think people need to hear it. I think these young adults need to hear it because this is real. Um, to tell his story over and over, it is hard. It rips the Band-Aid right off. But I know that by telling his story, we can hopefully look for change. We're saving lives, and that's the promise that I made to Stone when I walked in the ICU room and saw all the tubes and everything on him, and not breathing on his own, had a ventilator. I knew what was going on, and I told him the one thing we could do is to fight to make sure this does not happen to any other family and to another student. And I guess, and that's what I'm trying to do, is just retell his story so that people understand this is real and this is happening, and it has to be taken seriously, and things need to be done that are going to take care of hazing once and for all.